Hello guys, it's Alex here again, and in this course we'll be looking at color theory and the psychology of color. But then before we go ahead with color theory and the psychology of colors, there is an important element of graphic design that we need to talk about. Yeah, I didn't actually list them in the previous course when I was listing other graphic design elements, and this graphic design element is called form. Form is important in graphic design because it helps our graphic design look real. Now, form is basically a three-dimensional shape. Remember, in the previous course, we discussed or defined shape to be an enclosed space with two dimensions. So basically, what that means is, like, let's say we have a geometric shape like a square. A square has two dimensions, which is the length and the height. But then turning that shape, which has two dimensions, into a form that has three dimensions, then we'll end up having a cube. A cube is a shape, or a cube is a square that has three dimensions. So basically, a cube has length, height, and breadth. So that is three dimensions, and it makes it look real. So in our graphic design, we use forms to add realism to our designs. Using form or applying form in our designs helps our design look or feels natural, because in reality elements appear in three dimensions. Elements appear in 3D, right? So the shape square, when converted to a form, becomes a cube. Then the shape circle, when converted to a form, becomes a sphere. Then the shape triangle, when converted to a form, becomes a pyramid. And just as we have two types of shapes, which is the organic and geometric shapes, we also have two types of forms as well, the organic and geometric forms. Anyways, even if you don't really understand this, don't worry. You definitely understand them in the future courses where we'll be really applying them in our graphic design exercises. So that's that. Let's move on with the theory of colors and psychology of colors. In the previous course, towards the end, we defined color to be how the eyes interpret the sensation they get as a result of the way an object reflects, refracts, or emits light. Before we go ahead, I would like you to take this video seriously, because most of the things we do in design has a lot to do with colors. So a proper understanding of colors theory and the psychology of colors goes a long way to give you an edge in your career as a designer. The color theory is very important because it helps you to know how to make use of colors, so that you won't end up being the graphic designer who throws colors around. Like here, man, I can't even look at this. This is painful to the eyes. You see how all the colors in the world were used in this design. This is not even attractive. You see how bad use of colors can destroy a design. So this is where the color has been corrected, and this is more pleasing to the eye. So just as I said earlier, this course is divided into two parts: color theory and the psychology of color. Color theory is the science and art of using color. While in psychology of color, we are looking at how color affects our mood, emotions, behavior, and what colors mean to us. So let's get started with the theory of colors. Generally, color is grouped or divided into three major parts, and it is primary colors, secondary colors, and tertiary colors. The primary color is yellow, blue, and red, and they are called primary colors because they are three colors that no other color can be mixed to achieve three of them. They are so unique that the rest of the colors you know are derived from these three colors. So let's look at secondary colors. Secondary colors are derived by mixing a group of primary colors. And here we have three secondary colors, which are these three colors in the middle: green, orange, and purple. And how do we get about all these colors? We get green by mixing yellow and blue. So you see those two colors at the edge, the yellow by the left, by the far left, and the blue by the far right, are mixed together to get the green in the middle. Then we have yellow. The yellow by the left is mixed with red by the far right to get the orange in the middle. Then the blue by the left is mixed with red by the right to get purple. So these three colors are secondary colors. Then we have tertiary colors. Tertiary colors are derived by mixing primary and secondary colors. Here we have six tertiary colors, and these colors, starting from the top, are yellow green, green blue, the next line, yellow orange, orange red, and the bottom is blue purple and purple red. If you noticed, I am calling these colors by their parent names. For example, this lemon color here, instead of calling it lemon, I called it yellow green. This helps us to understand the two colors that have been mixed to achieve that color. This other side, the green blue, green and blue are mixed together to achieve the color. Then we have yellow orange, and so forth and so on with the rest of the colors. So you see how the tertiary colors are derived by mixing secondary colors and primary colors. So basically, secondary colors are gotten from primary colors. Tertiary colors are gotten from mixing primary and secondary colors. But then when we put together primary, secondary, and tertiary colors together, we form what we call a color wheel. So what is a color wheel? A color wheel is organization of color hues around a circle which shows the relationship between primary, secondary, and tertiary colors. In the definition of color wheel, I mentioned hue. So, in case you're wondering what a hue is a pure color that hasn't been altered by tint, shade, or tone. Which of these variants of colors, there's the primary colors, secondary colors, and tertiary colors, all these are called hues. The blue, red, they are all called hues. So, hue is a pure color that hasn't been altered by tint, shade, or tone. You understand what I mean by this tint, shade, or tone later in this course. So this is how the color wheel looks like. At a glance, you see all the colors, the primary, secondary, and tertiary colors, all arranged in a circular form. So the color wheel is divided into two. They are divided and categorized as cool colors and warm colors. So the colors that are yellowish and reddish by the right are warm colors, and the colors that are bluish or greenish are cool colors. They give this kind of cool feel and look. So about warm colors and cool colors, we'll go in depth about this in the psychology of colors. So now let's look at the tint, shade, and tone. So a tint is adding white to a hue. So when you add white to a hue or a color to make it a little bit lighter, that is what we call tint. Shade is adding black to a hue or color. So when you add black to a color to make it darker, it's called shade. And tone is adding gray to a hue or color. So let's look at the practical example of what we are talking about. So if you can see by the left here, this is tint. You can see how a drop of white is added on top of these colors, and you can see how it made all the colors lighter. Then let's look at shade. You can see how black has been dropped on the set of colors, and the colors in that area are already looking darker than the rest. So the color in the middle here is looking darker than the ones beside them. Look at tone here. See how gray has been added to a part of the colors. I can see how it has altered the colors in a certain way. There's one other term we'll be using a lot that has so much to do with colors, and that term is saturation. Saturation refers to the intensity of a color. So it basically means how bright or how light a color is. And looking at this example here, you can see this red, and you can see that towards the bottom, the red is kind of lighter. And looking towards the top of the color red, you can see how rich, or they can see the intensity of the color there. So saturation refers to the intensity of a color. So you just have to keep this in mind. We'll be using this a lot throughout this course or throughout your career as a designer. The one other term we'll be using a lot too throughout the course and after this course that has a lot to do with colors is color palette. A color palette refers to a collection of colors. As you can see here, you can see how this set of colors have been put together beside each other. This is a color palette. So far, we have looked at colors and how they are being derived from each other. Now, let's also look at how color can be used together, because you see, not all colors go well together. Some don't match To help us understand colors and how to match them together, we'll be looking at color harmony. So, color harmony is the term for colors that match. So, color harmony or colors that match have been studied and grouped into 7 parts. So, we have complementary colors, we have split complementary colors, we have analogous colors, we have triadic colors, we have tetradic colors, we have monochromatic colors, and we have square color harmonies. So let's look at complementary colors. Complementary colors are simply colors that are opposite each other in the color wheel. In this design, we have used two colors that are directly opposite each other. Here we have blue, a shade of blue, and here we have a shade of red. So these two colors put together have been used to design this amazing movie poster, and you can see how well it turned out. So complementary colors go well together. Split complementary color harmony is almost like complementary color harmony, but one of its sides gets splitted to colors that are beside the one in the middle. I just hope you understand this. Let me take it again. In split complementary color, you choose a color at the under end. So while moving to the other end, instead of choosing the color that's directly opposite the first color you chose, you go for the color that is beside. You have to choose the shade of green that is beside this particular green. You go this way to the left and to the right. So that's how split complementary color works. So looking at this design, you see how the three colors, the red, then this shade of blue, and this shade of lighter green, have been used to design this poster. So let's take a look at the next color harmony, which is analogous. Analogous color harmony are the colors that are beside each other in the color wheel. So the shades of colors or hues that are beside each other. You can see here in this design of Kung Fu Panda, the designer chose orange and moved beside orange to pick other variants of the orange, from the darker ones by the left and the lighter ones by the right. So you can see the four major colors that were used here. You can see how the analogous color harmony is used everywhere around the design. So let's look at the next color harmony, which is triadic color harmony. In triadic color harmony, as you can see here on the color wheel, the chosen colors form a kind of triangles that have equal parts. The number of colors or the number of colors in between each point are the same. Let's do a count to verify this. So here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. So here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then we jump the point again and continue. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. On each side we have 7 shades of colors. Depending on the color wheel you're using, some color wheels have fewer colors, some even have more colors than this. But depending on the color wheel you are using, you just know that you have to choose 3 colors that have equal number of color shades in between them. And as you can see in this movie, Aladdin, triadic color is used for the movie poster design. You can see on this cloth here, you can see purple here, and you can also see purple at the top here. Then you can also see the golden yellow all around at the background too, by this window, and see the golden yellow here. Then you can see this shade of green, almost sea green. You can see a touch of it on the cloth of Aladdin. So let's look at the next color harmony, which is tetradic color harmony. And tetradic color harmony is simply two complementary color harmonies used together. At the color wheel, you can see this pink is chosen here, and directly opposite pink is green. 1, 2, 3, and chose orange here, and directly opposite orange is blue. So you see how these 4 colors are used in harmony to produce something beautiful here in this design. Look at this pink here. You can see a touch of pink in the design. You can see it here. You can see the shade of orange is not even really orange. It's almost brownish orange. That's what they used here as brown. So it's not really orange. It's brownish orange. Then you can see the green. You can see the green here, a touch of green on this. Then you can see blue, a touch of blue on the umbrella, and also the panties here. Then here the swing. So have you seen behind every amazing design there is a color principle behind the success of it? So basically, tetradic colors are just two complementary colors used together. The next color harmony is monochromatic colors. Monochromatic colors is simply one color that is added white, black, or gray to give different shades of it. So if you look at the design here of Grand Budapest Hotel, you see it's just one color. Tint, shade, and tone have been added to that, to just that one color throughout the design. The square color harmony is almost like the tetradic color harmony. It's still made up of four colors which have equal number of color spacings between them. So here we have blue, and in between the blue we have these shades of color. Let's count them: one, two, three, four. So we have four shades of colors in between this point before we have the next point. And from this point, let's count again: one, two, three, four. We have still have four before we choose a point, and in between again we have one, two, three, four before the next point. Then after this point, let's count again: one, two, three, four. You can see that in between the four colors on the color wheel there are four colors, so it has even color spacings in between them. And you can see how these colors were used here by Disney for this movie poster. You can see the red. Here is the red. You can see the green. Here is the green. You can see the blue. Here is the blue, and you can see the background too has a lot of blue. You can see the yellow. So here is the yellow. Among all these color harmonies, the one that is so common around us is the analogous color harmony. This is because it appears so much in nature. Let's take a look at leaf. Okay, generally we know that leaves are green. Taking a close look of a leaf, you can see different shades of green on the leaf. You can see the progression from very dark to a very lighter shade of green that has almost a touch of yellow. So on this one leaf, then you can also see this leaf. You can see the different shades of orange on the leaf. Because of how a proper understanding of the color theory is important to your journey as a good graphic designer, let's look at another color wheel and see how we can play with this color wheel, use them as a guide to even generate more colors for our designs. So from my explanation so far about the color harmony, we've understood that the color harmony is used to illustrate time-tested color combinations. And here, going first with the complementary colors, we have said that the complementary colors use colors that are directly opposite each other. And on this color wheel, you can see it here. The color directly opposite each other is green and blue. It can be this color and this color. It can be this color. It can be purple and yellow. It can be this color and this color. So it can be any color that is directly opposite each other. But for here, we're using red and green. So here, we didn't just use red and green. We also added another shade of green and another shade of red here. So you can see how we have used complementary color as a guide to get a 4-color palette, which we use in this illustration here. This red, see it here. This darker shade of the red, see it here. You can see this darker shade of green was used at the lower part of this illustration, and this lighter shade of green is used at the top part of this illustration. So you can see how the complementary color has been used as a guide, and by adding your knowledge of tint, shade, or tone, you can play with the color harmony to get more colors. Sometimes too, you may not even use the exact color combination you even pick. Like in this case, instead of using the exact shade of red and green, you can actually use a lighter or darker tone of any of the colors. You can see here the red has been made lighter, the green has been made darker with other lighter shades of green. You can see how the 4-color palette has been formed from this, using this as a guide. You can use creativity to play around the color harmonies. Let's look at the split complementary color harmony, where we are supposed to have 3 colors. So here we already said that the split complementary color uses the colors on the either side of the complement. So here we have red, and directly opposite we have green. So instead of choosing green, the split complementary rule says you choose the colors on the either side of the complement, which is blue and the lemon, or as we have been calling it, the green yellow. So here we brought out the colors, a shade of the red. Then here we use the lemon. Here we use this shade, the same shade of blue, and added a darker shade of blue. So it is not a must you have to use the three colors. We use the three colors here as a guide, and we ended up getting a four color palette. Let's look at the next color harmony, the triadic. The triadic color harmony uses three colors that are evenly spaced, forming a perfect triangle. As I've said earlier, in between the colors, we have the exact number of color differences. So here I have 1, 2, 3. In between this color that we're choosing, we have here 1, 2, 3. We also have here 2, 1, 2, 3. So we have equal number of colors in between these selected colors. So this is the color palette that is brought out. You can see the green that has been chosen. You can see the orange. Then you can see the purple with another darker shade of the purple. And you can see how it turned out well in this illustration. So the color harmony serves as a guide for you to generate your color palette, which you use for your designs. So here is the tetradic colors. The tetradic color, as we have made it to understand before, it forms a rectangle by using two complementary colors. So here is a complementary color, this purple and yellow, a complementary color that are directly opposite each other. Then this blue, shade of blue, and orange, they are complementary colors as well. So the tetradic color used the two complementary colors together to form a perfect rectangle. For you to get the best result from tetradic colors, I need to point this out. It is best to use one color to dominate while you have a touch of other colors. That's why you see you have this blue here looks more to make you understand that this formula works best if you let one color dominate while you have a touch of other colors. And here, let's look at monochromatic colors. Monochromatic colors is the simplest of the color harmonies because you just have to pick one color, and with your knowledge of shades, tint, and tones, or just simply saturating or desaturating the colors, you can actually get different shades. These colors are guaranteed to match because it's just one color. You just made these colors lighter and very light. So you simply choose a color and keep desaturating them gradually until you get different shades of that color to use. So it's so simple to come up with. Color harmony guides you to use colors better. You don't have to use the exact colors that make up the different color harmonies. With your knowledge of shades, tints, and tones or saturation, you can play with your creativity to come up with color palettes to use for your designs. This is one of the flyers we use to advertise this program. And in this flyer, we use analogous color harmony. And as you can see, we chose one color, which is purple. Here is the places that we have the dark shade of purple, and on the button. So we have the dark shade of the purple. Then we have a lighter shade, which you can see all around too. And on the shirt, we kept making it lighter and lighter. This shade, you can see it on the socks. You can see it on the laptop. In analogous color harmony, if we're going exactly by what the color harmony says, we are supposed to go only by these four colors. We're supposed to just use only these four colors. But no, I added one more color that is not even in the color harmony, which is this butter color. That was very, very deliberate because I used it to make that 5K stand out. We will understand this principle in the subsequent class where we'll talk about hierarchy in design. I'm drawing your attention to this so you see that the color harmony serves as a guide. You don't have to use the colors exactly the way we have defined them. So this may not make a lot of sense now, but when we are done with a lot of these theories and get into designing with Photoshop, then we will definitely begin to understand and get our hands on how these things work. So that's that for color theory. We have looked at what color is all about. We've looked at various types of color, the primary, secondary, and the tertiary colors. We have looked at the color wheels. We have looked at color harmony and how colors can be matched up to be used together in designs. And we have also looked at various examples of these color harmonies. Now we are moving into psychology of color. So color psychology is the study of hues as it influences human behavior. How colors influence human behavior. So color influences perception that are not obvious. Color have qualities that can cause certain emotions in people. The psychology of color will be continued in the next course. So as an activity for this course, you'll be telling us the color harmony of this image here. It's a very popular color because it is our Christmas color. What color harmony is this that is used by the interior designer in this picture? Then here is a picture of the sky. What color harmony is this? So answer these questions and drop them where I will look at them and correct you if you made a mistake. So once again, it's Alex here, and see you in the next course.